We're going. We're rolling.
We're here. Am I the first one?
Yeah.
No.
You'll be honoured.
I feel so honoured.
So this series will be like in the office with our talent. So we're currently in our HLD studios. So the background's gonna look a little bit different, but this is the vibe. Asking our talent a little bit about like how they started, what they were doing before, just general chit chat. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So let's get into some questions. So
Let's do it.
what was your job before content creating? So what did you do?
So I had a few jobs before I started doing content. So my first ever job was at a beauty salon where I got like £4.19 an hour, I think. Yeah. So I was 16 years old and my mum was like, right, go and get a job. So I went and got a job at a beauty salon which paid rubbish, like £4.19 an hour, disgusting. And I
What did you do in the beauty?
Right, let me tell you this, honey. So I would be the cleaner, the getting people coffee, settling people down before their appointments. So obviously I wasn't trained as a beautician at all. I had no training, so I can't do any of the treatments, which I'm fine about because I don't want to be doing like waxing people's pubes. But I'd be like picking up, with gloves obviously, picking up people's like crusty old like puby wax and like putting it in the bin and wiping it down. Like it was so traumatizing, and every time I seen like someone go in, I would like I'd see them go in, and if they had a lot of hair on their head, I'd be like, fuck, I've got to pick up like piles and piles and piles of like thick black hair that's been on someone's vagina, like on the bed, it's all laid out, and I'm like, oh my god, it was so traumatizing. So my first job was cleaning toilets and picking up people's waxy pubes, so it was humbling to say the least. So that was my first job, which I got fired from about 3 weeks in because I
didn't want to collect it up.
No, well I came in late, like 2 minutes late once, like generally 2 minutes late. My boss was a fucking psychopath. Her name was Sophie, I hated her. She was so evil. If you're watching this, Sophie, fuck you. She was so evil. She was horrible. She was so passive aggressive to me, like just the definition of just a passive aggressive bitch, like just totally horrible. And then she called me up while I was in college, walking around with my art folder, like
I remember the details.
No, I remember this, and I was in the corridor with my best friend, and she was like, so yeah, I just don't think that this is gonna work out for you. We just, you know, you were late a couple of times, I was late once. And yeah, it just didn't work out, which I was very much fine about. I wanted to quit like every single second I was there.
Did you do it like after school, or you just do it on weekends, or was it like?
No, so I would do like every Sunday. No, I'd do like
not Sunday.
every Saturday, and then like I'd have like, my college rota was very small, so I would have a lot of free time, so I'd have like an afternoon where I could go in and do a thing. But I remember like coming into college, right, I was such a loser in college actually, because I was quite cool in school, and then but then in college I was such a nerd, and I'd like come in with my fucking like beautician outfit on. It was just not
the vibe.
No, and I wasn't allowed to wear makeup, and I'd like come in, it just was not looking good. Like it wasn't it, basically. It wasn't fun.
We have to start everywhere.
So that was my first job for like two minutes, and then my second job, I worked as a hairstylist for 4 years. I worked in a hairdresser's at Tony and Guy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like a qualified trained hairdresser, and I loved that job. Like I loved it. I got there, one of my best friends was working there at the time, so we were all juniors. I loved that job. And
the vibe in a hairdresser is so nice as well.
It's like,
everyone's like done.
They taught me how to drink. Really? Yeah, but no, it was great. I started there when I was 17. I quit college and I was like, right, I'm gonna become a hairdresser. And it was brilliant. I loved it. I had clients who loved me. I'd get like Christmas cards with money in it, and yeah, no, it was really. I'm still in contact with some of them now actually, and they see me doing social media, and they're like, "We're so proud of you," and I'm like,
mum moment.
No, real mum moment. But yeah, I love that job. And then actually, a little bit of inside tea. Basically, when you work for this hairdresser company, you got to do something called vardering, which is where you kind of train, and you've got to complete like 20 haircuts and make sure they're completely perfect, like to the hair. It's very precise. And there was one of the trainers who was really, really gorgeous and good looking. He looked a bit like Tommy Lee, and at the time I was like platinum blonde, obviously now like platinum blonde, fake tan, whatever. And like we really like together, we look like Pam and Tom. Well, anyway, so I started seeing him. I started seeing one of my trainers. So I was going to London every day for about 4 weeks. So I started seeing this guy, and like every day after training, we'd like go for a drink or go out together. Yeah. So we were like dating, but we never put a label on it. But we just like spend loads of time together. Yeah. But we weren't allowed to. Obviously, it was not allowed. So we didn't tell anyone, but everyone knew.
I love that when it's a little bit secret.
Yeah, it was like another secret. I was like 21 and he was like 29.
Yeah.
So he was like obviously a lot older. It was like it was cute. It was like my first like London relationship almost. But I was living in Brighton, but it was
secret love.
It was like a secret. It was like a secret like relationship. So that was fun. That made the experience. And then I had my surgery and quit. And then started doing social media. Started doing social media while I was at the hairdressers. So every time I had a break or I'd had a client in between or whatever, I'd go upstairs where there was the ring light and a blank wall and I'd go and film. Just like comedy, like talking about me being transition videos, as in like whatever. And it was great. So I'd be doing, it was crazy though, so I was doing hairdressing and then content on the side. It was a lot, but it was fun.
When did you make the change of like, right, I'm gonna like do this full time now, like quit your job? Was it because you weren't enjoying the job, or were you like?
I just had enough, and I was blowing up on TikTok anyway while I was at the salon, and I had people come into the salon and then recognise me.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I left the salon with like 150k followers on TikTok, and then over the course of having my surgery, talking about my surgery and doing all this content, I gained about another 150,000 followers. So I got myself, so I already had a management at the time while I was working at the hair salon, but I started to do it full time when it really started to blow up for me, and I eventually just was going to more events, doing more things, and then, because I had 3 months off work anyway after the surgery, and then HRD reached out to me, and then it all kind of just grew from there, really. Never looked back.
Okay, another one. What was your dream job growing up? Like, what were you like? Because I think when I was growing up, really weird, but I thought I'm gonna be a PE teacher.
A PE teacher!
And that was like my goal.
I can kind of see you as a PE teacher. Well, I always wanted to be in the industry, so either in fashion or in, which is so funny now because it's not like I know people who work in fashion and I can just see it's hell for them, but I kind of wanted to do something along the lines of like modelling. I also thought about doing YouTube as well. I used to love watching like Zoella and stuff back in the day. I always thought that'd be a really cool job. So like content was in the kind of realm for me of kind of where I wanted to be, like especially as a stepping stone. So that was definitely there. Acting. I definitely wanted to be a Hollywood actress. I love doing acting, model, just anything in the industry, anything to kind of become successful.
Manifested it.
Yeah.
Still acted to be
still not quite there yet, but we're getting there. Yeah. But no, it's sick how things turn out, and I always wanted to be in the limelight. So I think you do manifest what you actually want to do.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, what's your favourite thing about being a content creator and creating content?
The places you get to go and the people you get to meet, just the experiences of life. I think that, you know, doing a regular 9 to 5, you don't get to experience these certain things, like going to like New York for Pride and you know, being on a float at London Pride and going to Greece and Austria and everywhere. I think just the whole, what you get out of it, what you get from it, and just the whole experience of being in that world and being able to, like, I feel like I was speaking to my old housemate about this the other day, who's a manager, he's a content manager. And he just says, when you meet a famous person, you're so desensitized to it now because you've met so many.
Yeah, that's so
And it is
true.
weird, you just meet these people off the telly, and I think before you do social media, or if you don't do that, you're like, oh my god, wow, it's you.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh hey girl, you're right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so weird.
So it is interesting. Definitely the kind of places you get to go and the money.
Yeah.
That's the best bit about it.
I think like as well, working with brands is really cool. I think
It's amazing. It's so fun. Like working with Garnier, for example, like a brand. I've been using micellar water since I was 12, and I'm on a float with them. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's so true.
It's so weird, but I love it.
A content creator you look up to or think like they're smashing it, they're doing really well, or that you like look at their successes and you're like, wow.
Probably Olivia Neal.
Yes, good
She's
one.
I think she's like gone above and beyond.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like she's now working with like huge major fashion brands. Like she does. She's like the UK Emma Chamberlain because she's so funny and so she's got such a great personality, but also she's stunning.
Yeah.
And she's like got such a great fashion sense, but she's also got such a great personality as well.
Yeah.
And she's funny. I'm just obsessed with her. But like what she's done with her career, it's not exactly where I want to go in mine, but I just look up to her regarding her drive and everything she's done. I think it's so cool what she's done, and I love her so much. I actually DM'd her once because I was working with the same production company as her for something. She was working, not for the same thing, but they were working with her and I was working with them. And they were like, oh, we're working with Olivia Neal tomorrow, and I was like, oh my god, I love her. Can you tell her I love her so much? And they were like, she really likes you, she's a fan of yours. And I literally died. I was like, I have loved Olivia Neal for years, like 4 years.
Really?
And like, yeah, and then I DM'd her, I was like, I'm obsessed with you, I love you. And she goes, I love you, you're so cool. And I was like, I can die happy now, like Olivia Neal knows who I am.
I'm done.
No, exactly, I love her, she's the best.
Yeah. Okay, your dream brand to work with.
My dream brand to work with, I think it would either be someone like being on maybe like a TV show with the BBC or Netflix.
Yeah.
For like, I think the TV side of it, I do want to do presenting.
Yeah.
I really want to have my own show. I'd love to be something to do with like Graham Norton and interviewing people. He's like one of my idols when it comes to chat shows because he's so good. He has the best guests ever. He's been doing it for years consistently. Like, I don't think I know anyone, especially in the UK, who's had a show running that long than him.
Yeah.
That in TV wise, I think maybe fashion and brand wise, anyone kind of high up in the brand world. I love Prada, I love Dolce & Gabbana, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Something like that, Miu Miu. I think anyone,
I'm Miu Miu at the moment.
just the big, right? The big
good.
fashion brands, definitely, because they're like huge and amazing, and like I'd love to be one of the Dior girls, do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously I like feed my own delusions, like me being a fucking Dior girl, like messy me, but that is such a vibe. Like, imagine just fucking being in like a Dior advert, like Natalie Portman, that's so sick.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, I'm really reaching for the stars here, guys. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but
what is it? Manifestation, vision board.
aim high.
This is the final one, biggest achievement in
I
what
have,
you've been doing in the industry.
I would say becoming one of the faces of E4, that was huge for me, and that was something that I really, you know, that was a really long process for me, and you know, it was like 2 years ago that they reached out and they said, you know, I needed to send an audition tape, I needed to do all these things, and I got it, and I was so proud of myself, so I really worked hard at getting that. It wasn't just like a brand deal that was handed to me, it was really something that I had to actually, you know, with hundreds of meetings, all this stuff. So I was proud of myself for working hard to get that. That was a really big achievement for me, and obviously filming the pilot of the show, that was really cool, and that was such a great taste of stuff that's yet to come. And I think brand-wise, like brand deals, I feel like flying to New York with Garnier was just amazing. Like going to New York, like we were in New York Pride, the middle of New York Pride on a float. Like, I've never been to America before, and like seeing all of that. I was in floats with Kimchi from Drag Race, who I'm obsessed with, like all of this stuff, and then like being in VIP and meeting like one of my favorite trans actresses, Angelica Ross, who's incredible. She was in a show called Pose. She's also in American Horror Story. She's so cool. She was so lovely. You know, seeing Christina Aguilera like 10 meters away from me live in fucking VIP. It was like so surreal and so incredible. That was a real big achievement. I felt really like, wow, I've really come to my head.
I've done it.
I was like, wow. It was.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my love. Thank you.
And doing our first episode. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back soon with a new episode and another guest.
Bye. Bye.